Last week, we got an awesome new robbery in the form of the casino. But how good is the casino compared to the other robberies in the game? That is what I will determine in this video, where I will rank all 12 robberies from worst to best. Now keep in mind, the way I'm ranking them is not just based on how much money they give, but also how fun I find them to complete. So this will be a very subjective ranking. If you have a different opinion, make sure to tell me your opinion down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. In last place, we have the cargo plane. The cargo plane is a very big inconvenience to rob, and it gives way too little cash for the amount of time it takes to rob it. The cargo plane is located in a very remote place, the airport, so you really have to go out of your way to rob the cargo plane if you need to rob it. It takes a really long time to rob it as well, because first you have to wait for the plane to land, then you have to get inside the plane and wait for it to take off, then you have to wait until the E-circle prompt shows up, then you have to actually hold on the E-circle, and that takes a long time as well. Then you have to get out and go turn in your cash. Now, I would be more fine with this if this gave a good amount of money, but it only gives 4,000, which is way too little for the amount of time it takes to rob it. You can rob the jewelry store in less time than this, and it always gives more money. Overall, I never find myself robbing this place unless I have a contract to rob it, and I find it very mediocre, so it comes in last place. Then we have the passenger train. The main thing that I really don't like about this robbery is the amount of cash it gives. 3,000? Really? That's such a pathetic amount of cash to give. Also, this robbery really spawns at inconvenient times. I don't know if it's my luck or if it's how the developers programmed it to spawn, but this always spawns whenever there's other stuff open, and I'm not gonna go out of my way from robbing like the jewelry store to go rob the passenger train of all things. Also, it's pretty annoying that it gives you a museum bag. Overall, I really don't like this robbery either, and I never find myself robbing it unless I have a contract to rob it. The only reason it's above the cargo plane is because it's a little bit less inconvenient to catch. I don't have to go all the way to a remote location if I want to rob this place. In 9th place, we have the donut shop and the gas station. I combined these into one spot because they're basically exactly the same, and I feel exactly the same about both locations. They're very simple. You just go there and hold E and you get a small amount of cash. They're nice for new players, and they're an easy way for them to get cash, but for people like me, I'm never really gonna go rob this place unless I have a contract to do it. Overall, there's not really much else to say about it. Then we have the train. This robbery I actually liked a lot more, but unfortunately they've nerfed it throughout the years, where now it only gives 3,500. However, this is still 500 more than the passenger train, so this pulls it up a spot. Also, it doesn't give you an annoying museum bag. I just find this robbery quite boring now. It doesn't give that much money, and all you do is just stand there and wait. You don't even really do much while you're collecting the money. So overall, I will find myself robbing this sometimes when there's nothing else open, but I'm not really a huge fan of it. Then we have the bank truck, and this is where the robberies really start getting good in my opinion. I really like how interesting and unique this robbery is. It really forces you to get into combat with cops and strategize how to efficiently take them out and get the most money from the robbery. However, there are a couple things that I don't really like about it. First off, the fact that you need 20 arrests to get it started. This can take quite a bit of time in most public servers, as there really aren't that many cops nowadays. Second, the fact that there's a limited amount of money makes this robbery a bit more annoying, as you have to compete with other criminals to get more cash. Plus, if there's a cop inside who's already gathered like half the money and you kill him, that means you just lost half of the money inside. Overall, I think there's a lot of really cool and unique factors about this robbery, but there are some things that hold it back for me. In 7th place, we have the tomb. When this robbery was first added, I was a giant fan of it. I thought it was really well made, and it was probably my favorite robbery out of everything in the game. You can go check out my past robbery ranking for proof of this. Now, while I still think this robbery is probably the best looking out of all the robberies we have in the game, I have soured on it a little bit in the several months since it was added. The main thing that I don't like about this robbery now is the fact that it's pretty repetitive. I don't really find myself excited to rob this place anymore, just because I've robbed it so many times and it's very repetitive to rob nowadays. I wish there were more interesting puzzles or randomized obstacles that you have to go through, because now this robbery is just not that exciting to me. It is still very well made and it gives a lot of cash, so it comes in 7th place. Then we have the latest robbery added to Jailbreak, the casino. Now, from the outside, I don't think this robbery looks very good, honestly. The building just doesn't look that great. However, the puzzles and the obstacles added are very interesting and I'm a big fan of them. The main thing I love about this robbery is going through the safe. The safe opening technique is very interesting and I love the way they incorporated it. Also, this robbery gives a lot of cash, like 8,000 cash. Man, honestly, I think that's a bit too much for how easy this robbery is, but hey, I'll take it. I think this robbery is a very solid addition to the game and I will always go rob it when I see it open. Up next is the museum. The museum was first added right after I first started playing the game, so I have a lot of love and nostalgia for this robbery. It is very easy to rob and it gives a lot of cash. It also forces criminals to work together to rob it, which I think is an interesting dynamic. However, I think this robbery unfortunately is a bit too repetitive. It's very simple and very easy to rob for the amount of cash it gives, so I'm not quite as big of a fan of it as I used to be. However, I absolutely loved the revamp they did back in January. I think it made the robbery a lot more interesting and a lot more challenging. So yeah, I still really like this robbery. In 4th place, we have the bank. The bank is Jailbreak's first ever robbery, and in my opinion, it's still one of the best. I love 2 things about this robbery. First off, the randomly generated floors. You never know what you're gonna get, and they're all of varying difficulty. I've only ever robbed the presidential vault like a couple of times, and I find most of the vaults to be very cool. The second reason why I love this robbery is how it forces the crims to fight against cops. A big challenge of this robbery is to not get busted by the cop team, and I always love the thrill of robbing the place before the cops show up. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this robbery, and hopefully when it gets a revamp, it doesn't change this robbery for the worst. In 3rd place, we have the power plant. Now, in my opinion, this robbery has a weaker obby than the other ones. It's pretty repetitive and really easy to get through. However, the puzzle that you need to complete to unlock the uranium and the chase to get the uranium inside the volcano base makes this robbery very fun to complete and pulls it ahead of many other robberies on this list. I love how interesting of a challenge it is to get the uranium into the volcano base. You need to get it in quick before it melts away, and this makes it very thrilling to drive all the way back to the volcano base. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this robbery. For our penultimate robbery, we have the jewelry store. This robbery got an awesome revamp back in December, which makes it one of my favorite robberies in the game. This robbery got a lot more challenging, and there's a lot of really cool, unique floors that are incorporated inside it. The cool floors are the main reason why I like this robbery a lot. Even though the older version had different floors, I feel like they kind of became a bit generic, but the new floors are really cool, and overall, I think this robbery is super well made. But coming in 1st place is the cargo ship. This robbery gives an awesome amount of cash. If you are able to rob it twice, it can give up to like 15,000 cash, which is awesome. This robbery is also super fun to rob, and there is quite a bit of challenge included in it. You need to be able to lock your rope onto the cargo crates before the rocket launchers shoot you down, and I think that's a very fun challenge for this robbery. Overall, this robbery comes in 1st place for me because it gives a lot of cash and it is very fun to complete, so it easily comes ahead of every single robbery on this list. That's it for my ranking of all 12 robberies in the game. What did you think? Do you agree or disagree with my ranking? What is your favorite or least favorite robbery in the game? Make sure to tell me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more Jailbreak rankings, please make sure to like and subscribe for more Jailbreak content like this. Anyways, stay safe everybody.